Thank you very much to Liam there, checking in from Old Trafford. He was one of the lucky few in the away end tonight to see what I think is one of Everton's best ever Premier League wins. They went to Old Trafford. They went down to 10 men. They were hitting each other. It felt like they were going to self-combust, as they tend to do at the Theatre of Dreams, but they dug in. They scored a great goal. And they came away with 3 points. I am absolutely buzzing with that. I'm delighted that I've got 3 people on to chat through it with me. We've got Rob, Keith, and Dave. Keith, I'll come to you first, mate. I said there, I think it's one of the best wins we've had in the Premier League era. It was just a great performance if you just look at the football side of things, but all the mad stuff that happened around it just made it sort of even better in hindsight. Now we're on the other side of it. How are you feeling, mate?
I mean, yeah, like you said, like the football we played tonight, I know we didn't have as much of the ball as United, obviously, but the football we played some really nice passing football through the midfield. I thought we like used the ball very cleverly today. Far too often this season, we've decried Everton for making the wrong choices when in possession. And they did a couple of times just to stay on brand with those 2 late counter attacks. They were pretty poor decisions, but by and large, I thought we played really well on the ball. Just to touch on the enormity of the result as well. We spoke about the circumstances there before we've come on air. Everton are the first team in Premier League history to win at Old Trafford, having had a man sent off. Which, when you consider the Premier League's been going for what, like 35 years?
Yeah,
that's obscene. So it's sort of, and I mean, going into that tonight, did anyone really expect we were gonna win, like even 11-11? Probably not. I'd have bitten your hand off before that game for a draw. And to do that under the with the ridiculous, honestly, for about 10 minutes after, like from the red card to the goal, I just sat there laughing my head off at how ridiculous Everton Football Club is as an endeavour. They are the silliest of geese, and that is why we love them and hate them in equal measure. I'll let someone else go all in on the red card because I'll just crack up over it.
We'll wait for that to the end because I mean that in itself could probably have its own dedicated reaction. But Robbie, that stuff from Keith is amazing, isn't it? And I was in the same boat. Like going into this game, I was sort of like waiting to be surprised by Everton, waiting for them to go and win at one of these grounds where a team that were once great but are not really great anymore. Like United, I think we're unbeaten at 5 and have won a few games coming into this one, so they're on a bit of an upward swing. But like we started off well, and then we have that absolute, like even by our standards, moments of fucking madness. And then after that, you're just thinking, oh well, they're a good start, everything's going to be undone. But they went again, and then they played the football when they had to. They dug in when they had to. The manager made subs, I think, at just about the right times as well. And as Keith said, we had even mad moments in there where United didn't have a goalie and our 2 attackers counter-attack and both run away from the ball. It was just I just loved so many things about that win. And it's kind of good we can laugh at the crazy stuff on the other side of it now. But like those 10 lads who were left out on the pitch, the subs and the manager, fucking hell, all did absolutely brilliant tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And look, let's be honest. If this is definitely one of those all's well that ends well kind of nights for us, because absolutely, if we drop points, late on, we are talking about one of the most collective displays of idiocy that you've ever seen in between teammates, which we'll get onto that later. But to your point, you're absolutely spot on. I think that's sort of the irony is like you had this one, like mega stupid, brain dead, brain fart moment of idiocy that results in a red card and us going down to 10 men. But on either side of that, it's really hard to look at the way we played and have any major complaints about anything. I mean, I think that we did, to Keith's point, there was, without even a lot of possession of the ball, a lot of really not only kind of good football played in terms of making, the right passes and stringing things together appropriately at the right times, but defensively, and when I say defensively, I mean everyone involved, it seemed like was just about a half a step ahead of United at crucial moments. I mean, I think that obviously, and I'm sure we'll go on to talk a little bit about a couple of absolutely massive saves by Jordan Pickford. And let's be real, you're going to have a weird result like this where you're down to 10 men. You're going to probably need your keeper to make a save or two like that. But overall, beyond just those two saves, it's not like we were requiring Pickford to just, keep us alive in that game because we were flailing around the whole time. Yes, the beginning of the second half, it certainly was a little bit loose. Near the end, United were certainly pressing, which none of us can be really surprised about. I was a little shocked at times that they didn't score, but at no point while I was watching the last probably 20 minutes, and I don't know if you guys can relate to this feeling. On the one hand, I'm watching the last 20-ish minutes of the match, and inside, that feeling in your body when you're just waiting for something to go wrong. I didn't feel any of that. And yet in my mind, I thought, well, there's no way we're going to hold on to this. And yet I wasn't really worried because there was that disconnect between what I was actually seeing, which was an Everton that seemed in control in the right spots at almost all the right times throughout the majority of the match, against the United who, maybe that's part of the equation too, is that United just, they respect, hey, they came in unbeaten in 5, but they really did not at any point seem to pose a lot of really good threat. Now, I will say Xerxes had a few moments there in the last part of the game where you felt like he'd gotten himself into some decent positions. But again, I give a lot of credit to Jordan Pickford, our defenders. They were there at the right time to meet all of those opportunities for United. And you just can't, at the end of the day, and I kind of live by this mantra, regardless of all the chicanery and all the weirdness, which it wouldn't be us if there wasn't all those things, Everton come away from Old Trafford, a place that has just been an absolute, dead zone for them for the last several years, decades, whatever. And they get a win. You don't apologize for 3 points on the road in the Premier League, and you certainly don't when it's at Old Trafford. And it's just an outstanding result, as you said, all the way around.
Yeah, Dave, when Michael Keane's waving Idrissa Gueye off after being sent off, and Jordan, it's mad. That actually happened. We still want to win at Old Trafford. When that happened, and the world seems to be caving in around us. There is not. I'm not having a single Evertonian out there that thought those lads would be over celebrating with the away end, giving it loads and bouncing up and down akin to Brian Oviedo and Distan 12 years ago or whatever it was. Just the fact they've come out the other side of that with 3 points is just remarkable.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't feel like there's any part of it that culminates in Everton winning that match. And I've just been thinking, obviously, in the end, about 15 minutes ago, so we come straight in after it, and there are 1,000,001 things I think each one of us wants to say that we probably will do throughout the shows for the rest of the week. But I actually laughed when it happened because I thought it was like something. Do you remember Bowyer and Dyer that time? All those years ago with Newcastle? I was thinking, is this like a piss take of that? It's it looks like a scene that's just surely someone's having a laugh here. Or even so, VAR to come in and say, you can't send someone off like that. And then fucking Gary Neville and Sky put on the actual rule of it, fucking law 2.972 or whatever it was, to tell you that it happens if you fight with your teammate or something like that. But when it happened, I thought, do you know what? I've got a new series I want to watch downstairs. I was thinking half time, probably coasted with Matt at full time doing the post match saying, yeah, we were always going to get beat. If you lost 2-0, that's not that bad. You've done okay. Should have lost a lot more because you've gone down to 10 men in the first half of a game where we were relatively okay until that happened. And then it's just incredible that the words that are hard to say this. And I just jot things down when we come to do our pods. Anything now, I just have a pad next to me and just start typing, just writing stuff down there. And Rob was mentioning there about with the certain a strange feeling of calmness edged towards the end of that game. And it's normally if Everton were 1-0 up at any point in any match, you're absolutely shitting yourself. And I was sitting there with our little dog next to me, just stroking him all casual, feet up, having a ball Lucas said. And I'm thinking, I feel fine here. And then as it got towards the end, I was thinking, if they score, I'd take a point. I think a point's miraculous if you do that, given what happened. We obviously gutted in the context of it, of going so long, playing so well. But to what Rob also referred to, United was so poor that there was a sensational save that was better than Gordon Banks from Pickford. That was it. That when he tips over, it goes. That's like right down his throat where he tips it over from Zerke towards the end. But they did nothing. And they did nothing to our credit. They didn't do anything because they were that shite. Everton just played that superbly well. How they defended that. They threw everything against it. Positional wise, it was just incredible. It wasn't a case of everybody like last minute tackles. There was nothing like, somebody just about gets the toe to it, knocks it out for a corner. Didn't feel like that to me. It felt like you were blocking anything to get crossed in, headed away really comfortably. Everton played within their shell there. And it does lead on to the jokes that people will be talking about, thinking, well, you know what, maybe we're just better like that because David Moyes is that kind of manager where he can't play a side that needs to have more possession and can attack a lot more. This is this is David Moyes' category as a manager, being able to go somewhere and do this sort of thing. Paddy as well, probably his best performance as an Everton player. Yet he didn't have a shot on goal. It was an old school match that I felt where you've got a team showing you that they're a team. And I don't think you get that often in modern day football. You see lads, you see individuals. I'm not saying that we're like a side that's one that you'd have one individual and he's going to go. You're looking and dying how good he is and players like that. But each of them there were battling for one another. The old-fashioned Everton that we sing about when we go to games. That's what that was all about. And that's what we did. We probably, I don't know if you noticed towards the end or you remembered it quite quickly, but Alcaraz almost did the exact same thing where he fucked up, where he probably should have scored, and it was trying to get it to Beto. And I thought they got the ball back, and I thought, no, not again. Please, not again.
And I've never seen it like they both just ran away from the ball. Like their goalie was in the box after coming off.
Yeah.
Like just one of you get hold of it and either have a shot or pass it to the other one. And like you got to score. Like it was, and then it happened again, didn't it? We had another counter attack which we messed up as well. But
I think Pickford was fuming because someone just needed to whack it back to him. It got to that point, wasn't it? When we got the ball, it was like go to the corner. I think Pickford's at the other end saying, no, don't go to the corner, just hoof it back to me. Because nobody was in like 30, 40 yards of him. But yeah, I mean, it's astounding. You see that cliche, don't you? Like anything can happen in football. That doesn't happen to Everton, what we've just seen tonight. You never see that happen to Everton. And I just can't believe it. And we'll go through the players, probably go through them one by one, who was the best, because they were all fantastic. Dewsbury-Hall, I thought, has been a poor Everton player for quite some time. Thought he was all right when he first came to us. Tonight, I thought he was absolutely outstanding and ran into the ground. Even Grealish, not renowned for tracking back or defending. Players like that who aren't renowned for doing those sorts of things and putting 100% in on the deck did all of that. So I don't know who to throw the most credit at, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, it's like you can pick through individuals, but I think it is like that was just such a collective effort, wasn't it, from everyone? And like I think ultimately, I think what Everton do so well tonight is that in every phase of the game, apart from 10 seconds with Idrissa Gueye, is that they are really good at kind of needing to be what they need to be in that part of the game. So like for the first 20 minutes, like they're on the front foot, they're pressing, they're keeping the ball, they're making chances, they're getting Ndiaye and Grealish into the game. Obviously, they don't score and get that go-ahead goal. Then after the red card, they're still like on the front foot, aren't they? They're still going forward, they're still making chances and causing United problems, and then they get the goal. And then when the pressure does inevitably come, when they start throwing people forward, they throw the bodies in front of shots and the head crosses away. And like I suppose, keeper, Dave mentioned Dewsbury-Hall there, and like he is ultimately the fella who gets the goal that gets us the win. And I think when you see it like if in real time, you think that's right in the corner, like great finish. You see it again. I think the keeper maybe could have done a bit better with it, but I think watching it again here on my telly, I think what probably catches Lemons out is that he takes on his weaker foot. I just don't think he's set him ready for the shot, and he strikes it so cleanly, and he can't get across quick enough. And listen, don't want to look too far ahead because there's so many good things tonight. But him playing in a deeper role there and having to work hard, do the defensive bits and pieces, we're going to lose Idrissa Gueye for 3 games. I think he showed that he could do the stuff going forward tonight. But obviously those little bits as Dave mentioned there, like the ratty tackling, the chasing after the ball, the hold up position when you need to. It was just a proper all-round display from him.
I thought he was magnificent tonight. I thought he was like hands down our best player tonight. I thought he was superb. Like you said, there's a lot of great efforts out there, and it is a good team collective win. But I thought every time he was on the ball, he was brilliant. I thought every time he was off the ball, he never stopped running. Like he was dogged. He was there. Even if he's not throwing a tackle in, he's forcing the player he's coming towards to do something rather than have time on the ball, which has been my major criticism of him for the last sort of 3 or 4 games. I don't think he's put that level of effort in that he did, say, in the Brighton game towards the start of the season. I thought he was magnificent tonight, and the goal is just the quality of the strike is brilliant. I think what you said there about him taking it quickly on his wrong foot as well has probably deceived the keeper, because initially he breaks out onto his left before he cuts back across the edge of the box. So the keeper's probably expecting like him to try and get onto his left foot. And what he does as well, if you look back at the replays, he uses, I think it was De Ligt in the middle, who's like trying to charge out. He uses him as a shield to curl it round. So the keeper's probably not had sight of that until it's past De Ligt and already heading for the back of the net. And by then it's game over. It's in. What a great celebration as well. And that away end, fair play. If you were there tonight, put a comment on the one of the various media feeds telling us what those celebrations were like, because they looked absolutely feral, and I hope you enjoyed every last minute of it. I've been saying for weeks on the pod now about Dewsbury-Hall and about Grealish, how I want them to take more chances in those dangerous areas, get a shot away, get that cross in, stop checking back and like taking the easy pass back. Just try and make something happen. It's not always going to come off. It's not always going to fly in the top corner. But if you don't take that chance, you get nothing from it. So I'm more than happy that he's had a ping there. He's hit it beautifully, and let's see more of that. Let's see more shots from outside the box, because we've got very good technical footballers in those areas who can hit a ball. Between him, Grealish, and Iliman Ndiaye, the less said about his left foot effort, the better, I would say. But yeah, just man, he's my man of the match today. I thought he was magnificent, and like I say, I've been critical of the way he's played the last sort of few weeks. So to see that he's got that in his locker is a big plus.
Oh yeah, amazing. I mean, Robert, I don't know if you want to carry on Dewsbury-Hall, or there's anybody else you want to mention?
Well, no. I mean, look, I think I had said, I said when we signed Dewsbury-Hall that to me, what he seemed to represent, especially in a transfer window that upon further inspection has looked increasingly dicey from Everton, as the season has gone on. I remember at the time saying that it felt like kind of a no-brainer, because Dewsbury-Hall is sort of what I would consider a floor raiser, if you will, in terms of a player. Like, he's just a guy that's going to come in there, and he may not be spectacular at any one thing, but he was really well-rounded. He'd, obviously been developed playing real football, if you will, in terms of learning, more of the all-around game, learning how to, certainly pass and possess the ball. I think he's been a really good connector. To Dave's point, I think, there's there's been a bit of a, at times a bit of a dip here and there, but I think that can be said of all of Everton's players so far this season. But I think the Dewsbury-Hall has come in and been about what I expected, and probably a little bit more, especially on the goal scoring side. He's had some really nice goals. He's had some big goals. And certainly to Keith's point, one of the real indicators, I am one of those who thinks that when we create a low bar of try hard, as I call it, that we are really, that really goes against actually saying that we have standards of excellence, of just saying, well, if a guy goes out there and runs his socks off, that's all we really want. Well, yeah, but I'd really like some productivity to go along with that. I think Dewsbury-Hall is really one of those who certainly seems at this point to be, to me, looking like one of those pieces that going forward you can look at and say, hey, when Everton are actually good and relevant again, if things go according to plan, Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is one of those guys that looks like he would be a part of that moving forward, because he blends the work ethic with the productivity and some of the skill that you need to keep it going. And I don't think it's a mistake that, as much as you want to point at Jack Grealish, who's certainly had his moments this season and certainly produced assists, especially early on. I personally think it's Dewsbury-Hall, adding him in as a connector that has allowed us to be a side that you watch that can actually connect more than 2 or 3 passes together before they lose the ball. That's the thing we've been complaining about for years. And I think that the KDH has come in and really solidified that aspect of our attacking play and our general midfield play overall.
Yeah, there's just those little moments which you kind of forget about, but like at the time, it just feels so big. Like I think when he won a couple of free kicks, just like carrying the ball forward or stuff like that, and it just kills a minute. And like Neville, as much as he was an absolute pain in the arse on the Sky broadcast tonight, like just was saying, like when you're playing against 10 men, you're trying to keep the pace up, you're trying to, work the other team. Like those little 30-second, 1 minute breaks that you can take out the game are just so massive. And I think you can only really get those and win those frequently in a game when you've got 10 men. If you're technically good and you're positive, so he did do loads of that. I think for me, they obviously, you mentioned the goalkeeper. He just continues to do it, doesn't he? I think that save is one of his best saves for us. But other than that, I thought Keane. Like, I mean, we will talk about the incident, as I think we should probably call it, a bit later on. But I think that was up there. It was one of his best games for us tonight. I thought he dealt with everything so well, like on the ground, winning loads of headers. Obviously lost his head a little bit after the Ghana red card in the immediate aftermath, but sort of got straight back on it and was defending well and put that great tackle in on Bruno soon after. And Tarkowski as well. I think after a few ropey weeks was really back on it again tonight. Obviously, very much his type of game when you're sitting in and defending and trying to clear and kick everything away. But those two really, really on it again after, I think Fulham obviously 2-0 tonight, 2-0, consecutive clean sheets since the Brighton win. They're our first 2 since then. So a bit better in that sense as well. But yeah, I think Keane in particular tonight was, especially at the end when they were putting cross after cross in, he was just there every time. It felt like he was a bit of a magnet to the ball in the end.
Yeah, he was. He was immense, and I don't want to do both of them, Tarkowski and him, a disservice here, but that is right smack in the middle of why they're 2 Premier League defenders, because that to them is why they like playing as central defenders. 2 absolute giants who love having their back against the wall because that's when they get the best out of each other. I can imagine there's been a conversation or something like that when he's got sent off and you're down to 10 men. That's something where you'll see one of them weird wry smiles that Tarkowski sometimes does that wrecks your head and makes you want to slap him. You can see him pulling off one of those things and they're saying, like, this is the sort of thing you like. It's like that meme, that gif that everyone sees where you see Sean Dice loving it when there's snow on the pitch. I get that impression that's like Keane and Tarkowski when they're looking at something like that. They're thinking these are going to throw everything. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. And then when they put the ball out wide and he kept on crossing it in, it's bread and butter to them. And in fact, when you get put down to 10 men, and bear with me here because I'll get a lot of people probably thinking I'm absolutely crazy here, but certain teams suit games that get sort of pushed towards them. And Everton at that side tonight, I'd go as far as saying I don't think we'd have won if we still had the 11 on. impossible to say. We would
Oh,
have.
I do. I think they were
I
so
disagree
dominant tonight in
completely.
those first 20 minutes.
The reason why I say that is because we'd have had an attacking capacity to have more than the ball. I think we had 30% of the ball, more shots on goal, attacking more, counter-attacking more, leaving ourselves exposed at the back because they've got fast players, and the edging back towards the United that many have known. They'd have certainly had more shots on goal if Everton weren't defending pretty much on the edge of their own 18-yard box. So that's why I think we wouldn't want to say, but that's obviously by the by. I think we have players there who like to defend. And if you look back on it, when everybody was sort of saying, why on earth we've given Michael Keane a one-year contract, games like that you've seen are exactly why. I mean, I think he's been really good this season anyway. He's certainly been, he's been, you'd approve of him starting every match, put it that way. I think he's been the best of our central defenders by quite
easily,
head and shoulders above all the others, you know. And in a game like that, I feel like you've got a pair of defenders there who'll be screaming at everybody else to do their jobs. They do what they're there to do. It's why you've got, and I've moaned about them all season, and for longer than that, with James Tarkowski should never have been Everton captain. I didn't want him as Everton captain. I didn't want him as an Everton player for quite some time. What he did tonight is exactly why he should be Everton's captain and why he should be Everton's best centre-back and be able to lead on everybody else that's in that.
Well, that's some prisoner of the moment shit right there.
No, I'm completely no. I'm going completely against myself. I'm ripping myself apart if there's such a thing. But that's why you have.
If you're going to do it on any night, it's when you go to United
and win. It's me. Rob. It's me putting my hands up and saying I've completely, for one night only.
Give it a week. Let's see how we feel next.
Well, yeah. Wait till Newcastle have put 3 past us and Anthony Gordon comes back fit and scores past them. But no,
they're getting it on Saturday.
Well, but this is the other thing I think that sort of we put towards the end of the post match when we talk about it in a bit. But he's made for that, and Everton haven't been like that for quite some time. This is why Tarkowski was fine under Dice. When Dice brought him in on a free transfer, everyone's like, "That's a really good signing. Go and get a solid, no sort of half-assed sort of tackles. Everything about him is a traditional centre back. You go and get one of them, you stay in the Premier League." That's what we did when we got him. After that, when Everton, or we're thinking that Everton are going to kick on to another level, he's not that player. That isn't him. He's not somebody who's going to be at Everton when Everton are getting in, hopefully qualifying for European places. James Tarkowski is not that lad. That tonight is him. That's what he is. That's what he's about. And that's effectively was a big part of why Everton stayed in the Premier League. So there's no confusion or it's no surprise to me that you're looking at somebody like that coming out of it, having played really well. And, you know, his mate Keane next to him. It's hard to choose a man of the match. Me and Keith, I think, agreed saying it was Dewsbury-Hall. I think Robert said as well threw it into saying it was Dewsbury-Hall. There were a lot of others who were pretty close to having a debate about it. You could have a debate about who was man of the match.
I think what you have to factor in with Tarkowski is
some ale going away here, by the way.
I love the Keith's just about to make a big Tarkowski point and just topped up his whiskey.
We're on the single malt here for these series.
Well, people on the podcast, you need to define to them what he's actually doing, because he's either doing that or having a piss.
He's pouring out whiskey. He's not. I mean, exactly. I know it was a great win, but I'm not sure it was that great. So,
Moisey, if you're listening, it's an old Pulteney 12. On Tarkowski, played very well tonight, right? But I feel like we have to highlight 3 minutes in where he just ran forward and shoved their striker in the back for absolutely no. The ball wasn't anywhere near them. He just legged it forward and pushed him. And in this era of VAR and there's cameras on everything, it's a silly thing to do because you never know. Like you saw that referee, what he would give red cards for, which we'll come on to in a minute. It's just a daft thing to do, and it's reasons like that I don't like him as when he deputizes as captain. I just think he plays too much into this faux hard man act of his. Just defend like you did for the rest of the game, and we're happy with that. Don't make those stupid decisions Don't throw yourself into those stupid tackles that you know are going to look good on a 5-second YouTube clip, all sort of spliced together, making you look like the hardest centre-back in town.
Yeah, the old Ben Godfrey.
Play a sensible game. And ironically, I think a more level-headed approach as captain right now is Jordan Pickford, which can any of you imagine us saying 5 years ago? Fair play to Pickford as well, by the way, in the Keane and Ghana moment, for getting straight in there, diffusing it, getting Ghana dragged away to one side. Because there's every chance if that had kept going, he'd have sent Keane off as well. And as good as we were tonight, I don't know if we win that with 9 men, we might have had to settle for a point.
Did anyone see as he's walking off and Pickford's got his arm over the shoulder, being the person that you wouldn't expect him to be, he still actually threw in one of his little laughs as well. He's as he took him towards the corner. Do watch this again. Someone's obviously going over. I think it was Ndiaye as well, who's come over to help him off, and he just turns to him as if he's speaking to him and does that laugh. That little.
He loves it, doesn't
he? Yeah. He loves it. He'd love to have been slapped himself.
He is essentially Dr. Robotnik. He is just constantly in search of the Chaos Emeralds.
Right. I mean, let's get on to talking about that. So, like, since we've been recording, Dewsbury-Hall has said that Gueye has apologised to his teammates for what he did.
I'm not
Moyes, obviously in a very chipper mood, has said he quite likes it when his players are fighting each other.
Oh no, he never said that.
He said that, and Idrissa Gueye put a statement out on Instagram, and I'll read it fully now. It says, "I want to apologise first to my teammate Michael Keane. I take full responsibility for my reaction. I also apologise to my teammates, the staff, the fans, and the club. What happened does not reflect who I am or the values I stand for. Emotions can run high, but nothing justifies such behaviour. I'll make sure it never happens again." So they're all mates now, Rob. Everything's fine. But
sure, why not?
Again, now we've won. Can we look back at that as potentially the funniest moment?
There's no point in talking about it, right? All's well that ends well. Like I said earlier, it's totally fine. Look,
did he say that on the way to Senegal, by the way?
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, the apology, everything in that apology is exactly what needed to be said. I will also say that I don't know if Keane has an Instagram, because I sure as shit don't follow him on Instagram. But if he does, I'd like to think that he would. I would like to think that he apologized for his role in that too, because let's be honest. Keane is the one that escalated that. Keane is the one that egged him on while he was being kind of pulled after the red card. He's being pulled off. You see Keane talking shit to him and telling him to get off the pitch as if he was on the opposite side. So, they're both wrong. Let's be clear. Gueye needed to be Gueye. And Matt and I disagreed with this. We were talking offline about it. Like, I do think by the letter of the law that Gueye needed to, Gueye earned a red card there, because you can't strike another. You just can't. You can't strike someone in the head, and it is what it is. But I think it was so poor all around, because one, I think that the ref absolutely could have taken the opportunity to just go over them, and do his whole little. The universal hand signal that the ref does when it's like, this is your last one, guys, like, no more.
Yeah,
it could have easily just been a moment of, guys, chill out. This is not a big deal. What led up to that was hilarious, because I think Gueye was mad because he had laid off the ball for Keane to clear. Keane just kind of casually strolls by it, I guess doesn't see it or whatever. And as we see, I don't know how many times we see this in Premier League matches, guys, especially, and we always see it. We see it a lot more with goalkeepers kind of yelling at their defenders for stuff, right? But guys on teammates will often yell at one another about a moment, and then what happens is inevitably they yell back, one of them walks away, and then the game moves forward. What I didn't understand was why it got so heated that Keane shoves Gueye twice, and then Gueye responds, and of course he responds with a hand to the face, and you can't do it, and it was so stupid and brain dead for two allegedly older, experienced, cool-headed Premier League experienced guys that we rely on, because God knows young people cannot handle the heat of being in Premier League matches, as we know at Everton. That's why we start the most ancient, starting 11. We haven't even talked about the 8 minutes of vibes-based glory of Seamus Coleman playing before he went off with an injury. But, we have this old team, and the benefit, I used to say this when Ashley Young would lose his head too. Like, I thought the benefit of having older players is that those are the moments, those guys don't lose their cool in those moments. Those guys, are above that kind of, thing. I've never seen, and Everton, I always think to myself, I've seen everything, and I've watched Everton, so I've certainly seen everything. Well, today I saw something new. I saw a guy get red carded for, a blow to the head of his own teammate. And it was so stupid. And it was such loser behavior on both of their parts. And I am so glad that this turned out the way that it did, because we're going to laugh at this and they're going to apologize to one another and it's going to be over. But my God, if we'd lost that game, or if we dropped points, late with a late goal on, late on goal, I think that we would be talking about this whole thing very differently. But hey, whatever, all's well that ends well, right? I guess that's where we're at.
So who actually of you three, who actually thinks it was a red card? Like,
No.
do you think it was a red card? Put your hand up.
Was it a red card?
Not even a little bit.
I mean, you're putting me in by the letter of the law, it's a red card. By the
I don't
spirit
think it
of
is.
the law,
By the letter of the law, I don't think it is, because the law says that the contact has to be. So the actual rule says striking an opponent or any other person on the head or face with the hand or arm. This is what you can get sent off for, unless the force used was negligible.
Well, Matt, to that point, that negligible is the key word there, right? Now,
it's quite subjective, I admit.
Sure. Now, question, Matt. Did Michael Keane help things when he acted as if he gotten an uppercut punch like by Mike Tyson when it happened? Probably not. That was the part that made me so crazy, is that it's almost like, why are you embellishing contact with your own teammate? And then, by the way, did Michael Keane at any point go to the ref and be like, no, it's fine, everything's cool? No, it all got escalated from there. And so again, I think it's a red card by the letter of the law, because from the ref's vantage point, it looks as if like that happened. And I don't know what you want. It's technically a red card, even though I do think that the referee had an opportunity to diffuse that whole situation by just calmly going over there and being like, guys, chill out, stop, and then moving on with the game. I don't know why that wasn't done.
I think that's Michael Keane just trying to get out the way of it. You know what he's like?
Oh, yeah.
He's quite slow to react. He's got the velocity reactions of an oil tanker, bless him. Yeah, so it's going to take him a while to get his head out the way. By the way, that referee could not get the red card out quick enough, could he? The little bastard that he was.
True.
He was straight in there. Didn't give himself any time to analyze the situation and what was going on. He's just gone, that little man has hit that big man, I'm going to send him off. And then that was it. And he was gone. And obviously, because of the letter of the law and all that horrible school prefect, police informant nonsense,
Keith,
VAR is never going to overturn that, is it?
Yeah, but did any of the Everton players go to the ref and try to argue the card? It seemed like they all just were like, yeah, sure, whatever.
I genuinely don't know, because the camera just goes straight to Pickford Bear hugging Idrissa Gueye, bundling him off the pitch. I think everything up until the red card is shown is it's not good, but I don't really mind it. They both clearly left the ball for each other. They're a bit annoyed. There's a bit of to and fro, and it's not great, but there's nothing really happened. And then the proper head loss from both of them actually comes after. The red card is just after
the red, yeah.
It's the red card's the element that goes into this.
Did you see what set Gueye off though?
The red card happens, and then all of a sudden, both of them just completely the head loss goes up another 10 levels. Then Garner's trying to get a Keane. Keane's waving him off and telling him to fuck off. They both completely gone at that point. But I also think within that rule, there is scope to be subjective and to be sensible and to just I totally agree with Keith. how many times if a situation happens like that between opposition players, do you see the referee stand back and wait for it all to sort of calm down, you'll assess it, and then eventually you'll go over and make the decisions. Like he's over there straight away. Like the fact that this hasn't happened for 17 years in the Premier League. Like, are you telling me like something like that hasn't happened between teammates in 17 years? Like,
yeah.
Well, but Matt, to that point, you asked the question: should it be a red? Maybe this is the distinction. Should it be a red card? No.
Yeah.
Can I understand why? The ref saw the incident and thought by the letter of laws, red card, whatever. But maybe the more salient question is, can I see why VAR reviewed it and didn't overturn the ref's call at that point?
I get that. Yeah.
I can see that because, if you're asking by the letter of the law, does it look negligible? I don't know. I mean, again, I don't think it was a big deal. I think that they were two little bitches, kind of going at each other. That really just one of the two needed to walk away. But yeah, like again, we always talk about don't put yourself in a position to let these corrupt officials make a decision, because we all know how that typically goes against us versus how it goes for the bigger sides.
I'm just going to use it as another excuse to put a witch's hex on PGMOL. Pox on all their houses, because the standard of refereeing is crap and it'll never get better. So I'm blaming the ref. Have at it. Let them. Sure. They should be allowed. It should be like ice hockey, where they're allowed that sort of 30 seconds of trying to pull each other's shirts over their heads, bit of roundhousing, and then break it up, and they both go to have 5 minutes sitting down and get on with it.
Yeah, but you never see teammates in hockey fighting each other on the ice. So that's the difference.
Well, that is why football is a better sport to watch than hockey.
Yeah.
Dave, sorry.
Yeah, it's so funny that we're going to talk about team unity and stuff. Like, today is probably not the best day for that discussion, even though the effort was very, good team effort, I guess, in terms of the result.
I don't think it speaks to anything wide. Like, I just think it's like a moment where like the conditions are there for both of them to lose their head a little bit, and it happened. And like it's entirely strong. Like they're under pressure. Like they're playing well. Like these things can happen. Like none of us know what that's like, do we? To be in like that situation, like playing in front of that many people under that much pressure. Like I kind of get why these things happen. So, sorry, Dave. I know you've been trying to get in a couple of times, but what was your thoughts on it?
It's a red card. It's an absolutely it's not even up for debate. It's a red card. You can't slap anybody on a football pitch and then say it's not a red card.
It's not really.
It's not really
a red card. He's put his hands in his face. It's a red card.
No, it's not.
If it happened in the opposition, it's a red card. If it happens in any other port on the pitch, anywhere else, it's a red card. You can't raise your hand to an opponent. We all know that.
He's not an opponent. He's a teammate.
No, it doesn't matter. Or anyone. Even in the wording, it says anyone else.
You can't put your hand to a person's face on the pitch.
Give over.
Hey, Dave, let's be real. The biggest issue is it's a red card. It's a red card, Dave. It's a red card, but the biggest issue is that Gueye didn't get his money's worth. He should have if he was going to get a red card, he should have really slapped the shit.
Lived out your dream, and rather give him Michael Keane.
That's not the point, Matt. That's not the point. Whether this is my dream or Ghana Gueye's dream, it is what it is.
Would you like a little on red cards?
Rightly so. I don't care what the rules say. I don't care what the Bible says. It's not up for debate that that's a red card. Like you're talking about the referee couldn't wait to do it. I think that's excellent refereeing. He should be doing it.
No, it's not. It's like
it is.
I don't agree with that.
You said to me, Matt, you referred to that whenever it happened 17 years ago with Bowyer and Dyer. That time.
It wasn't that one. It was someone in Stoke. I don't know.
Ricardo, I think. Yeah. Shawcross or some fucking clown, wouldn't it have been at the time? But forever as we've known the game, you can't do that on a pitch. It doesn't matter if the same players. You can't just do it and think, do you know what? Let's calm it down. If it's the ref, let's go to the ref and say, I just went a bit too far, slapping my mate there. You just can't do it. It's simple as that. It's black and white in the rules of the game. It's the rules of the game. You can't slap someone.
Would you like a
flick in the ears? You can't do it.
Dave, would you like a little stat on red cards?
Oh, sorry, you just go on. Keep going. Sorry, mate.
Little stat on red cards. Just want to get this one out there from BBC Sport. That is Everton's
Don't talk about them.
110th red card in Premier League history, which now brings us joint top of the red card charts with Arsenal. You'll never seen that.
Yeah, that's it. Arsenal don't get anyone sent off either, do they? Because of that paper. No.
Well, I reckon we can go ahead of them on Saturday if we put an effort in.
Anthony Gordon's going to be playing as well, so you know.
Yeah, make it. And as Rob said, make it worth your while.
Yeah,
I just got to say,
Matt, do you remember the Richarlison red card against, was it Bournemouth years ago? Like when he for a headbutt where I swear their eyebrows touched like butterfly kisses or something, and it was considered violent conduct, and he got 3 games. I thought that straight red card. I thought that was negligible to me because I don't think he really, there was no force to it. He grazed him barely, and yet Rob, no one really argued that one. So
there's no context to any of this. You've either hit somebody in the face or you haven't. And by the rule, you can't hit somebody in the face, so it's a red card.
No, Dave, I generally agree with you that by the letter of the law, I mean, it's a red card. Now, again, can the ref take a little bit of lead? I mean, I know apparently Carragher was on talking about like, you know, that at halftime that hey, you could have the referee could have used some discretion there, but
I don't know. The PGMOL WhatsApp right now, all of his mates would be saying that was a great decision, well done, and rightly so. I'm backing that referee.
I need added to that WhatsApp group chat just for 5 minutes.
Did you know, by the way, we didn't get any other yellow cards anyway, and no one else got a yellow card, did they?
They were lucky not to get more than they did, by the way. Some of their tackles were very the final thing I'll say on this, the rule gives the referee license to apply a bit of discretion that situation. You can shake your head, Dave. That's what the rule says. Like it says. Unless the contract is negligible. Like, just an aside, by the way, I love how a red card involving 2 Everton players having a scrap has led to us all having a bit of a virtual scrap about whether it should have been a red card or not.
Because we can laugh because we won. That's the best part of this. This is a funny discussion because we won the game. So
Saturday night outside the Denby, we'll recreate it.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to finish off on. Like, just from all he's looking ahead a little bit. Like, since that Sunderland game, which at the time, Keith felt like the end of the world, given how we played in the second half. We've taken 7 points from 9, clean sheets in our last 2. Got Newcastle at our 5 at Hill Dixon Stadium next. As you said there, you know, I think we're 11th in the table now. We're 11th or 10th. Yeah. We're above 11th, the Reds. We're 2 points off 4th. I think it's mad how quick this is turned around based on, I think after all we all felt after that Tottenham game walking out the ground when Scouse House was playing and it was pissing down. we were all thinking, like, what are we actually doing here?
Yeah, it's nice to sort of feel positive and look forward to watching Everton, isn't it? And I know that this is going to be a season of stops and starts. There's no way we're going to go from what we've been for the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, whatever, to challenging automatically for Europe and possibly higher. It was never going to happen. It's going to be a stop-start season. We're going to have results where we're all tearing our hair out, like Spurs, like not beating Villa when we should have. And then we're going to have nights like tonight where they just go and pull off an absolutely ridiculous result out of nowhere that nobody expected to see. And it makes us all sort of positive about Everton again. And for me, bring on Saturday, bring on those horse-punching, dinosaur inflatable waving, guinea pig accent bastards, because we are going to take them to pieces.
I just want to say there, Keith, I think you're spot on, apart from probably the main thing in it all, like you're saying, it will be a stop and start. No, hear me out here. I completely agree with you when you're saying it's a stop-start season. We'll end up going 3 games, we'll win 3 on the spin and then lose 5, whatever it is, the way it's gone so far this season. But that league table is absolutely bonkers. It's fucking crazy when you look at that league table right now, and it's there for the taking. So I agree with you because of what we've seen so far in the league. It would indicate that that's exactly what's going to happen. But whilst it stays that way, they're going to be there's stuff there for the taking. How far are we off fourth there now?
4
points,
points.
I think.
Well, you're 4 points.
4 points, sorry.
4 points off fourth place, and we've played what? 12 games, 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the third of the way through the season. You're 4 points off fourth.
We're probably about 5 points off the relegation zone, though, Dave.
Exactly. I said this the other week. We were 5 from the Champions League positions and 5 from the bottom 3.
So it's 7 clear of the relegation zone we are now.
That's the indication that I'm saying that at some point, if you are able to to take it by the balls, you can go and do that today. You've done that today.
So as Evertonians, we are never more than 90 minutes away from delirium or depression. It's a knife edge that we ride.
So just to clarify what we're saying, so we're 7 points clear of the relegation zone now, and we are 3 points off fourth.
There you go. There for the taking.
Which is mad.
Go and beat Newcastle will be even closer.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting it. They are getting it.
There you go. Who have we got after that? Who's after that?
Chelsea away, I think. And then Forest at home, then Chelsea away.
There you go, mate. You're going to get 6 more points. You're looking at first.
There we go. I mean, it's all right there in front of us at some point, so that'll put a spanner in the works. But Rob, I'll give you the final word, mate. How are you feeling about Saturday? I mean, and just final thoughts on tonight, really, in that amazing game.
I just want to enjoy tonight, honestly. But I think, and this is probably maybe I'd class this as maybe a slight cultural difference or whatever. Like the table at this stage of the season doesn't mean a ton to me right now, just because it's, everyone's going to be about this far apart generally, unless someone is, one or two sides are running away with the league, or, there's just some, wacky disparity. But I mean, I don't know how many times we've said in the past, we're only 4 points off Champions League, a Europe spot or whatever. And maybe we will, but my expectations for this season are firmly about kind of where we're at. Again, 11 to 14 is kind of my expectation. It doesn't mean that I don't think we could do more. It is all right there. And one thing I would point out that is maybe the difference between a season like this versus previous seasons where, we've been in like even a situation like tonight, for instance, is that when you have some genuine skill in your attack, doesn't mean we have a great attack, and I'm not saying that, but when you have genuine skill or guys that can score a goal, it can open up a game, that is something that gives you an outside chance here and there if things break your way. Again, and we haven't even talked about this much. We not only won 1-0 tonight being down to 10 men, we won 1-0 tonight after going down to 10 men, which I think that's a distinction that is important here. And I think having guys like Grealish and Dewsbury-Hall and Njai, and again, I do expect at some point Barry to join the goal scoring, at some point. But I do think that gives us a chance. At the very least, guys, Everton are keeping us interested. And that's all I really wanted, was for a season where we had a side we could look at this season and say, hey, they are going to be competitive. They're going to, not really be threatened with relegation. They're going to win some nice away games. Obviously, we'd love to have mixed some kind of cup run into this. I guess we have the FA Cup coming up at some point. Maybe there will be a chance. But my point is simply that they at least are giving us something to look at and to grab onto and to really be invested in this season. I will say what is the next big kind of thing on the horizon is, not even just Gueye's suspension, but we're about to deal with a real war of attrition when we lose guys to AFCON. I am critical and will be critical of how I don't think Moyes has really set us up to succeed when we lose some of those players by making choices not to bet in some of the other players we've got. But that's a discussion for another time. Tonight was awesome. Everton are in 11th, which is above, I think most people's expectations for right now. And there's an opportunity if we can do some things to have a nice season. But again, guys, we've won 2 games in a row. Let's win a 3rd game in a row. Our longest unbeaten streak this season is still 3 games. I mean, let's not get away from, get insane. We've got to show that we can take a result like tonight and build upon it. And then maybe Dave can stick with this whole idea that Tarkowski has totally changed his mind. Maybe if we win the next 2 games.
What about Keane for you, though, Rob? What about Keane for you, Rob?
Keane is no look. I said previously, Keane has been very good this season. I said this like I think it was like a couple weeks ago, either on one of the post matches or even on Kickabout. Keane has been good this season. Again, you know, I love an underdog story of being bad for 8 years and finally in year 9 being good. Like, if you can't get inspired by that, you just don't have a heart. You don't feel anything. Okay. So for me, I think he is an inspirational story that I will, I will, tell my nieces and nephews about someday. So yeah. Absolutely. Been awesome. Good for him. And I don't know that it means much beyond this season, but he has absolutely been good this season. And I don't dispute that.
I love that you're saying that, and you're definitely like doing something to hurt yourself right now, aren't you? Like you're really like trying to break your finger or something, or like really just throw some pain saying that Michael Keane's actually all right.
Dave, and by the way, and this is the last thing I'll say, Matt, it goes back to what we said before about how weird this game was. Because on the one hand, I'm sorry. I cannot say Michael Keane was some great teammate tonight, because that behavior by both of them was unacceptable. And that is below what 30-year-old grown men should be doing playing professional football. But on either side of that, Keane was great tonight. And Keane has been very good all season long. I would really like to think that this will all, be water under the bridge and it'll be fine. So let's hope that that's the case. They won the game. Everton are playing well, and I'm not going to say anything otherwise than that.
There you go. Big Mick energy, I think, as Everton put it.
Yeah, big
in the Twitter post this morning, which we all feared might come back to us.
Gay's a shit house, by the way, because hitting Michael Keane's like hitting a kitten. The size of him, he's honestly, he minds babies and everything. Michael Keane, you couldn't hit Michael Keane and not feel sorry for him if he's hit by anything.
I would like to offer a counterpoint. No, I won't.
Yeah,
never mind.
I feel like we're straight into dangerous waters here.
No,
so
we're good.
Let's leave it. Yeah, that's it. Everton went to Old Trafford. They had a man sent off and they won 1-0. It was absolutely boss. And we'll have loads of content coming up over the next few days. We build up to that Newcastle United game. Byline will be out on Wednesday. We'll have weekly. We'll have Subs weekly. We'll have weekend preview. We'll have mailbag. And yeah, we'll have instant reaction from the game against Newcastle from Hill Dixon Stadium and the Denby Castle on Saturday. Do look out for us scrapping outside the Denby on Hackintay on Saturday. In true Evertonian spirit. A lot of shadow boxing here for those who aren't watching. But yeah, it all's well that ends well. Cheers to Rob, Dave, and Keith. Nice one to leave. Send them over from Old Trafford. Up those fighting fucking toffees. Speak to you again soon.